I'm here with Ashley. This is seriously funny. What's going on down there in Mississippi, Ashley?
Man, we are having a heat wave. Today was 75. I'm currently under a
Hold on,
tornado
hold on,
warning.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I ain't asked you to rub in the weather part. You know what I'm saying? I ain't, I ain't asked for the weather part.
I'm just saying, just saying.
You just gonna rub that in there. Oh, it's like 75 degrees and blah 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 blah.
Just saying. And
We
it's, February 8th.
had heat
Or
waves.
huh?
We had heat wave today too.
Yeah. I just realized I put the wrong banner on not the banner, the background. Sorry, because I looked at the date.
Oh
That's
God,
my bad.
you got the regular banner uploaded?
No.
Yeah. I just
My bad, y'all.
yeah, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is great. Okay.
I'm a little slow today. It's only Wednesday and it's been a rough week, y'all.
So you go blame your rough week for improperly putting up that banner.
Yes. Why? Because I'm still taking accountability.
You kind of sort of taking accountability. You put up the wrong banner. Not all the way, and we just had a show on accountability.
At least I'm taking accountability. I mean, I'm going to do a banner where it doesn't have like the time and date. That way, we don't have to worry about that. So look, easy fix for next time. Lesson learned.
Yeah, we let that slide this time. But anyway, is police brutality an issue in America? I'm gonna let you lead off with that, and you let me know: is police brutality an issue in America? Is it?
It is an issue. There's good cops and there's bad cops, right? There's good apples and there's bad apples in everything. I don't care race, I don't care whatever job, but in police brutality or in the police force, yes, there is police brutality. I think it all comes up from like the older heads. They know how to get away with murder. So they teach the younger ones who are willing to learn and be under that mentorship of how to get away with murder.
So I got a response to that.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. Police brutality is an issue, but it's not an issue in America because there are far other issues that outweighs this shit. And I did some research.
Okay.
Police brutality is an issue, right? But it's only an issue of what the media makes an issue, right? They pick certain instances on what to put on TV. Let me give you an example. Situation at a hotel. I believe it was in Arizona. White male. They knocked on the door. I think he had his gun. He wouldn't put his gun away. Came back to the door. Shot by a white cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then exciting riots. Then gained the media attention. Hotel incident in Arizona. Got on his knees. Got executed, right? By police officers. The media didn't put that on there. The media only puts stuff on that's gonna serve their agenda. That's it. It's gonna serve their agenda. Is it an issue? I got stats here, right? Um, there's over 1,000 police shootings every year. So this newspaper article I was reading tried to put it like this: there's 13% of black people in America. 24% are involved in these shootings. Just regular shootings, not unarmed or nothing like that, just regular shootings in general. So I'm gonna give you some stats from last year. 389 white people, Caucasians, were killed by police. 225 African Americans were killed by police, and 120 Hispanics were killed by police. So this is what the media do to agitate people. 225 shootings, so right.
Mm-hmm.
When it's no, listen to this. People probably didn't know that 225 black men were killed, African American, I might say, were killed. 389 Caucasians were killed. People don't know that. They take a few instances, right? We know about. Let's go back in history. We go about George Floyd. What was the other incident with the search warrant?
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor, right? So you know there's two. So why we don't know about the other 223 people or so forth? Media plays a role in all the BS. Period. So I don't know if police brutality is an issue like that. I mean, it's at the bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel. I'll say that It's definitely the bottom of the barrel because this is what I want to go to. We as a people get overly too excited for police shooting. How about we as a people get excited when there's fucking child sex trafficking? Hey, where's the excitement at, people? So,
Right.
uh,
But here's my issue. So I hear what you're saying, right? Because the media is going to sit here and pull out what the world or what America is going to react to, right? A police officer killed an African American person, right? That is headliner news. Why? Because it falls down to a race issue. Then everyone is deep diving into the media instead of doing their research. They're going on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, was it like a white cop? Okay, I saw one white cop. Oh, it was a white cop that killed the person. Come to find out, it was really another African American cop who killed them. So it's like, again, do your research. Don't rely on the media to tell you, because they're not going to tell you the truth at all. This Tyree Nichols case in Memphis, Tennessee was absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. They just fired a sixth officer last Friday, who happened to be a white officer. And in this article, it said that he was the third officer to show up at the traffic stop. And I believe, don't quote me, but I believe he was the one. His name is, I think, is Preston, or I'm gonna check it up. But anyways, he was the one who, I believe, shot off his taser gun, and then Tyree ran off. Right. So then he said, this officer said, "I hope they stomp his ass." Why would you say that when you have body cams? Like, why would you say that?
let me tell you something. Why would you say period with or without body cams? Because it's never that serious to go after somebody that's like taking off like that. Like, why are they running? Doesn't even matter. I don't think that it's the thing with some police officers, right? I'm gonna keep it real. Emotions. Some people let their emotions get too involved in their job. You can't let first of all, you're out there to serve, protect, you're getting paid. You can't let your emotions get the best of you with people out in the street because you're
Mhm.
dealing with certain types of people who are going to push you over the edge and they're trying to gonna get a reaction out of you,
Right.
which proves the weakness. Let me tell you why this police brutality is an issue in America. Not at the top of the charts, in my opinion, to the bottom. Let me tell you why we're discussing this. What people don't realize is that you got the police officers and you say they shouldn't do this or they clowns, they this. Have anybody ever thought about how do police officers get hired and how those police officers make it through the cracks? I know of a police officer that made it through the cracks and was a mother to work with. Brutal. Should have got hired. Wasn't supposed to get hired, but guess what? He made it through the political cracks. He got hired
Hmm.
and so forth. If you go do research with a lot of these police officers that made it through the cracks, they got pushed through, a lot of them, by some type of political connect. It's a strong thing. It does exist. It's something that people don't think about. They don't know. They don't know. Now, some people, a lady I was talking to believes that, oh, African Americans will be better off in other countries. Let me just say, no, the fuck they won't. Come on, let's just be for real. They won't be better. Other countries play by different rules, and police brutality is not one of the top most dangerous things in America. Trust that because I haven't even did the crime stats yet on crime in Chicago area and big cities because crime is a real issue to deal with. But that's going to be further on down the show where I bring that into play.
So I want to talk about something, because you mentioned something, and this is going to be like a 3-point segment that I'm about to give. So in regards to policing, getting into it, we all know that majority of it is politics. There's a lot of politics behind it. Also, people, we are now in 2020, 23. ever 2023, Jesus, everybody has a has a smartphone. So people are always out with their phones trying to record things for numerous reasons. A, for evidence. B, to be the first person to sell to a news station or for clout and get money for it. Then you also have a lot of police officers who go through so much trauma. They could be going through personal issues, whether their spouse is going through a health scare, or they have personal health issues that they're not willing to talk about, or they found their significant other cheating on them, or they just lost their partner die in front of their eyes. That is all traumatic stuff that's being built up. And if they're not taking care of themselves, again, that's being put on their shoulders. So they are going out into the field with all of that, and they're not in the right mindset to properly act.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna tell you this: out of if there's 1,000 police shootings every year, 1,000 people getting shot, you best believe that a few of those shootings are going to be kind of suspect, right? So if you go to look at the stats, there are not a lot of bad police shootings. Most of them are good shootings, right? But let me tell you why police brutality is an issue in America. Police brutality is an issue in America because when at the right time, our government get to cover up some of the things they're doing behind closed doors. Our government has more of an opportunity to trash the black and brown communities because if you incite the black and brown emotions, the riots going to start, right? The riots from George Floyd incident affected a lot of the black community, African American community. A lot of stores were trashed. Some people lost businesses. Some businesses that were lost, they picked up and moved, where those tax dollars subsequently going to go to the citizens. They're going to pay higher tax bills. Don't think that's because you trash a building and burn it down that, oh, I accomplished something. There they go. No. And they know you're going to do this. They're going to act off emotions. You're going to go burn shit down, whatever. And you're in the neighborhoods and you're burning your own shit down. This is a way of war. You don't have to fight a war with a gun and a sword. To win a war, you can get somebody, irk somebody's emotions. You can trigger somebody. These things the media put on TV trigger people and they go do stuff. Like I just said before, tear up your own communities. So now the senior citizens in the communities who just saw the Walgreens burn down or get trashed, they can't pick up medication. It's a domino effect on how things happen in America. You got to think deeply. It's not about racism. Racism is used to keep this country divided. That's why we talk about this today, because we're a divided country. We got people, white folks, Caucasians, that hate African Americans, they can't stand Caucasians, Hispanics, so on. So we're talking about this because America could do something about this, right? I got one example. I was talking to this guy, and he said police brutality is an issue. Don't have to be an issue. That's how you solve this. I'm big on community policing. Very big on community policing. You should be forced to interact with those in your community to the police department. It should be something that the mayor trigger down and put out there. Community policing is so important. Now, I live in the suburb I live in. I go through events, as far as that's put out by the village or city. But you got some asshole police officers. When you speak to them, they don't fucking talk. Those are people that need to be weed out, and I think it needs to be some extensive research done, or not even research. The interview process need to be real insight to the person to figure out if they're fit to deal with the public.
Mm-hmm.
Not about military, because think about it. If you think a lot of police applications, they give military the benefit of the doubt. Here's the thing about that. And I love the veterans, a lot of people serve us. However, some people have what you call it?
PTSD.
PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And that carries over into the field.
Yep.
That's something that got to be dealt with. No, we just hire them. Our government does a bad job at taking care of our vets. Very bad job. Got homeless vets out here. Some of these vets, they find a career, they get law enforcement, got PTSD. It's not all of them, but some of them act in outrage, in a certain situation that easily triggered.
Right.
So you got to do some extensive interviewing. Community policing has got to be one. And that's everybody should be forced. Community policing is so important to get to know people. Get the fuck out your car. Go shoot a basketball with some kids. If you don't have no passion for kids, period, and you're a police officer, go the fuck home.
Right. I think there's a lot that can be done. And there are certain, even in Illinois, I know there's certain communities, certain suburbs, certain cities that actually do that and give back to the community. I know here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, um, they do stuff with the community as well. And I think that's so important because people need to be able to trust you that you're actually there for them when they need you and that you're not out to get us, or get them with targets on their backs.
But you got to look at this though. Very violent neighborhoods require more police attention. So let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind. You control your own community. You control it. Believe it or not. Here's a problem we have now. I'm gonna hit some shit because I would attack police officers, but I'm gonna attack the people right now. If a crime goes on in your area, and you best believe people talk, they see it, but they don't talk. So guess what? That person's gonna go free. They're not gonna cooperate police. So guess what? You got a person that did a crime in that area, who's going around doing it again because he's ruthless. Nobody's gonna say anything, right? So what that does is an increase in crime.
Right.
Nobody says anything. So guess what? As an increase in crime, the domino effect, more police presence is going to be in that area. Let's go to Chicago, Inglewood, big gang, big drugs, everything. And so you ride through Inglewood, you'll see police officers ride through there every now and then in Chicago. You see that. To keep the police brutality down, you can serve your own neighborhood by neighborhood watch program, help the police out to a certain extent. You got to work together. And for the police side, being African American, Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, you got to learn some damn diversity. Diversity is so important. You have a lot of racist police officers out there. I'm going to say it again. You got a lot of racist police officers out there who came from backgrounds, never been around African American people, and act the asshole. Then you got some Caucasian officers that grew up in a little diverse area. They're pretty cool. And then you got some African American police officers that I don't even want to know what to say. But the department in the city, the village, is in control of who they hire. And you got to make a strong emphasis on diversity and community policing in the interview process. It's so important. I mean, look at us. We do life where I cares. I mind talking to people. I'm a talker.
Right.
So
I agree. And I think that's what they need more of. But also the show Chicago PD, especially in the earlier seasons, that really, if you haven't watched it, I encourage people to watch it because it really shows you the eye-opening of how the government is really in their back pocket. Well, hey, you can't this is like our number one person. They secure, these 3 blocks or this, little village. So you can't take them away because we promised them X, Y, and Z. Well, then how are you going to keep my mouth shut? So it's a revolving door in a way of money going in, money going out. And it's so sad on how political it is. Now, I found when the pandemic happened, everyone jumped on TikTok. And so I ended up finding this one CPD cop, Kenneth Griffin. And he does a lot of like non-for-profit work out in, I want to say Inglewood, and a lot of other areas in Chicago too. Just the way that, he interacts with the kids, plays basketball, shows them how they can create their own garden and build their own, grow their own vegetables and whatnot. Giving back, Christmas and meals and whatnot. It's like, why are we not doing more of this, especially for the communities that need it? And especially in the law enforcement field. I think that's huge.
Yeah. Well, I think that due to lack of a lot of police departments are now manpower, but I still think it should be a strong emphasis in the community policing. It's very important. I don't think like right now. I can tell you right now. I can't tell you the last time I had to go hands on with somebody. It's been so long. Most of the time, though, if you politic with the people in the community you work, it's this job is easy. Actually, it's not as bad as people think. You make it as hard. It's up to you how hard it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an asshole, treat people like assholes. Guess what? People gonna remember you.
Yep.
That's the asshole officer, and things will be a lot rough for you. Because when they
Yep.
see you, guess what? They can bring a fight. Now, I had a situation. Uh, I see Donna said schools have removed SROs, which is the officers of schools, but they actually help to build community relationships. Yeah, I agree. And I don't know why. You know, what? I don't know why some schools remove like officers, police officers from the schools. Like again, you got to really dissect the police officer's brain, their background, and see if they're a good fit. Because every police officer is not a good fit. So I'm gonna paint the scenario for you. It ain't a scenario. It's something that actually happened. So I'm on this call. It's a domestic. This guy, I'm a big guy, so he's a little bit bigger than me. Battered his wife, and he was furious. Shirt off, sweating, like sweat. It was a river going down his chest. Like, damn, like the Nile River going down his chest. So I'm like, this motherfucker is ready to fight. So I'm looking, he's breathing. Come on, and he ripped the fucking hinges off the door. Ripped them off the door. Ripped them off the fucking door. You see, you know how the door is in your house.
Yeah.
He ripped the damn hinges off the door. So I'm
Damn.
like, whoa, what we gonna do? And this hallway is narrow. So it's me and this other officer, right? The hallway is narrow. So we kind of like, I don't carry a taser. So he looked at me. No, I don't carry a taser. So let me tell you something. They teach this in the academy, verbal judo. I had to pull out all my street language to calm down. So honestly, from experience, from me going through stuff and seeing other people going through things, I told him like, look, fam. I said, fam. I said, look, you can't let a woman take you off your square. You cannot. You can't let a woman bring you to like your worst moments. You cannot. Trust me, I know. So I'm talking to him man to man, and I asked him what happened. He used to know how to explain to me. So we started talking back and forth. He forgot that he was pissed. So he went from like 200, he's bringing it down slowly. I was like, look, bro, honestly, I'm going to have to arrest you. But, you know what I'm saying? Get some shirt, get some smoke and everything, and we'll be good. So honestly, he got a shirt, went in the garage. I let him have a smoke, and we took him into custody. Nope, no, he's ready to go. Now, you guys, as police officers, you got to have patience in a situation like that. You see a person ready to fight, ready to go. Your first reaction may be like, let's go. But sometimes people go through things in life. That's when we got to realize that we are human. They're human just like us.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to coincide with them with the issues because we dealt with similar shit. So a year later, I see that same gentleman. I don't notice him. He flags me down. And he says, like, look, bro, what's up? He's like, you remember me from domestic? I had no idea because I didn't remember because he was cool. So from that domestic, he told me, like, bro, you changed my life, man. Like you could have did something lethal, you could did something real bad, but you didn't. So to this day, that brother got him a nice paying job. He was paying him good money. He had his family back. Totally changed dude. So what I'm saying is that police officers in this world, you have to like, whether you like it or not, you kind of got to be a therapist to some people. You kind of got to be. You're not like a professional therapist, but you deal with people all the time. So you kind of got to be this therapy person. And you got to listen to people problems, and you got to like talk to them and listen to them and understand them and everything. Let them vent because that's what it is. You can't go in somebody's house. Oh, sit the fuck down! All that screaming. Nobody likes that. You would like nobody come to your house screaming, telling you do shit and everything. So most of the time, you gotta relax, let people vent, let people talk, and you gotta relate to people. Because let me tell you something: a lot of people out here, especially some officers, they act like they live a perfect life and they'll do nothing wrong. And don't nobody out here in this world, police officers, human beings in general, ain't none of y'all out there perfect. We all have faults and we all done wrong. Period. So, you're a police officer, you're a damn therapist too.
You really, and again, it's all about, just like you said, it's all about bringing them down. You can't go, and it's even like when you're talking to your significant other or family members, siblings, whatever, two hotheads can't go at the same time. No one is going to hear each other. You can't, yell at one another because no one's going to hear. You
Yeah.
have to talk to them. And so I can't really disclose what I do for work because I just can't. But I had a lady on the phone one time for like 45 minutes and had a complete anxiety attack. And I said, listen, and I mean, I was hot because of the way she was talking to me. I was hot. But I'm like, all right, check myself. Let's put therapist Ashley in check. Let me put my hat on, right? So I'm like, all right, I want you to listen to my voice, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, right? And just coaching her on the breathing. And people think those breathing exercises are so stupid. But honestly, if you are a hothead and you are at 100, we need to bring you down. And that's one way that's going to bring you down.
Close your eyes and breathe.
Man. And that's what I was telling her. I'm like, just close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And, I let her know she's doing a good job. Bro, 20 minutes of this. And I was just like, get off my phone.
Some people ain't gonna act right though. You got some motherfuckers out there that be ready to go at it like, jab. Hey, let me tell you something. I'm gonna just say it anyway. There was one time, I'm not gonna say when, where, and how. A motherfucker threw a Hennessy bottle and hit me in my groin. Now, let me tell you something. Those are my precious jewels. At that moment, that is the force towards me. Well, those are my precious jewels. We about to throw down. We about to scrabble. Ain't none of that. Bro, fam, Hennessy bottle. Now, people that drink Hennessy know how big that bottle is. I ain't talking about a little small bottle. I'm talking about a little big bottle of Hennessy. Matter of fact, it wasn't Hennessy. I want to say it was what's the little
Remy?
not Remy. No, it wasn't the Remy. It was a light alcohol tequila. It was a tequila bottle.
Okay.
It was a tequila bottle. And ooh, you ever see Trainer Damn to get shot? I got the jewels like, ooh, you mother. We finna fight. It ain't no more verbal judo. We finna fight. You hit me with a bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Technically, they touched you first, and that's my rule of thumb. You touch me first.
He did want to touch me. That is a precious jewel that will be used, and it must be effective at all times. You will not destroy that. You better hit me in the arm.
Oh, sweet Jesus!
Yeah, hit something else. You hit me in the jewels. I'm like, oh no, we fighting out. It wasn't even. It wasn't just. It wasn't even. It was just a tenth of a second. Like, poop. All right, it's gone. You're not going to hit me and my precious jewel. I have to use it. It has to be effective. It has to run its course. We're gonna go to jail.
Right.
Periods. Like you're not gonna hit jewels. Like my jewels. I was like, oh Lord, does it still work? Because of the title of the show, I ain't gonna tell you what I had to do to see if it still works. So that's another story.
Oh my God. That needs to be like Hendo's Diaries. Lord Jesus. You probably had to go through specialized physical therapy for that.
No comment. That's for another show. Maybe they can ask that tomorrow, Donna, doing tomorrow's interview. No, you don't. Don't ask that question. No, don't ask that. Don't ask that.
So really quick, so in regards to this whole police brutality, do you feel that policies need to be rewritten?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. Some policies, depending on what police department it is, are put out there for police officers to hang themselves to dry. They don't allow you to police. Let me tell you something. Some police officers, some policies are so tight grip where it doesn't allow a police officer to do their job. Like if you do something wrong, you get written up, you get suspension. That's a day, no pay. And it's not a suspension because you did something negative towards a person. It could be little things. that's within the department. So what does it do? If you go to a lot of departments or you go to a lot of cities and they be like, oh, the police officers don't do nothing. CBD, for example, you can't chase a person on foot for nothing. So if a domestic battery occurred where one to get battered, smacked or punched, the man take off. Police officers cannot pursue on foot. Now you got Lightfoot as the mayor, who's really behind this type of method. That's not policing. What do you want the police to do? You can't chase on foot because, like, you have one incident, chase on foot is a shooting. My thing is this: police work is not 100% effective. Somebody's gonna fuck up. That's just what it is. Somebody's gonna fuck up. It's just now we got cameras and stuff. They catch things on camera, but nobody's 100% perfect. You know why? Because people in intense situations don't know how to handle intense situations. They get frigid.
Mhm.
Like, I'm gonna be keeping 100. You get to take a white officer from Malibu. I mean, nice neighborhood. I'm just private speaking. They have a group around black people, right? You get to around your black person now. Just because a black person got dreads doesn't mean that they're a criminal, right? But that's not what TV portrays. That's not what the
Right.
video portray. You get Malibu, B Rad, police officer. He gets out. He's dealing with this guy on dreads. And his first thing is to be aggressive. Why? Lack of diversity, lack of communication dealing with people. So guess what? He's most likely to fuck up because he thinks this guy's an asshole. He looks aggressive, but he's not aggressive. But he got dreadlocks, t-shirt, whatever. So he's gonna act the ass, right? Now you have a fault where you bad at the person and have to, or things are handled the wrong way, but there was some shit to happen. And that's because of lack of diversity, communication. You got, as a police officer, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, you need to learn about different cultures, different people. That's why in general, especially African Americans and Caucasians, some can be so judgmental. It's actually quite exciting to get to know another culture. It's very fucking important to get to know another culture other than your own, so you have a better understanding of everything and make sure you do your job effectively. Not just as a police officer, a person who deals with the public in general. Teachers,
Mhm.
that you do right now, anything that involves the public.
Right.
So that's real.
And the thing is, with law enforcement, so I know it's a state by state, county by county, city by city policies, right? But then I also look at it as like law enforcement as a whole. So like let's look at Walmart, right? Walmart is a huge franchise
Uh,
and it's in every state across America. You become a Walmart employee in Illinois and then you transfer to, let's just say, Texas, you're going to still have the same rules and regulations, right? The same policies that you signed when you became a Walmart employee in Illinois.
right.
So I think overall, and again, I've never worked a day in my life in law enforcement. I give you guys the biggest kudos to handle it, right? Because so much shit has put targets on y'all's backs and it's disgusting. But at the end of the day, I think throughout the entire US, policies and procedures need to be the same. Obviously, in some cities, there has to be more in depth policies. Chicago. Why? Because it's a high crime rate city.
I think
Jackson, Mississippi.
lower crime rate city though. I think you can have the same policies because in the higher crime rate where you got like a lot of, for example, we have an issue with a lot of carjackings, stolen autos and stuff like that. People shots
Mhm.
fired. Your policies and some departments, despite all that, have tough policies that doesn't allow the police to work. You have some departments that got real linear policies, but like for example, a place that has like a high thing of carjackings and everything, you're gonna get to a lot of pursuits. Your pursuit policy may be a little lenient in some departments, and it may be strict. They don't want you to chase nobody because of liability. So
Right.
this is what citizens don't know. I hear people say this all the time. Well, they should be chasing them for that. Or they should be chasing them for this. If somebody got shot or carjacked and they're getting chased, it's kind of like hard for a person to say what they should or should not be doing until they become the victim of a such incident or
Yeah.
know somebody close as a victim. And then when the police don't chase them, you be like, oh, they don't do nothing. Let me tell you something. You pay tax dollars. If you got a police department that's very active in the community, and you know a lot of police officers on police force, it makes the police officer job easy, makes the interaction with the citizens as far as police easy. You're gonna want them to do their job.
Hmm.
Period. Because let me tell you something. At the end of the day, they're assholes out here in the street. It's not a high population of them. There's more good people than bad, but you got people out here that do fucked up shit. Old man attempted carjacking. 70 something years old, had a nice car, was killed. He was beating the little young guy ass. Got killed in the process. Retired fire department in Chicago. Retired firefighter Chicago. Nice Jeep. To attempt to carjack him. They exchanged gunfire. He shot a few rounds. They shot and hit him, killed him. The thing is, let me tell you something in this world. We have crime.
Hmm.
So the biggest issue is not police brutality. The biggest issue is poverty. Poverty, lack of education in the black and brown communities. Not enough funds is going into the schools. Not enough funds. Because think about it. Your best to go get a good education. Well, I'm gonna be for real. Don't be blunt. You're not gonna get in the African American community more than likely not. Most people send their kids to private school, or they move out to the suburbs where there's lower crime and a better school system.
Hmm.
That's what people do. Then you got poverty, right? So most of your people live in poverty, live in those black and brown communities. Now there is poverty in the white communities too. I've
Hmm.
seen it myself. So right here, a good stat right here. 40 million people struggle with hunger in the United States. 40.6 million people live in poverty in the United States. So this country makes people dependable on our government. So you got to keep those areas in poverty so they can rely on government for assistance, food stamps,
Hmm.
anything you can do. It's all a game. So policing, you put in these neighborhoods, and guess what? Some people become police officers, you're not gonna make it out. I'm gonna keep it real. You're either gonna be fucking caught up in some little negligent type thing, or you're gonna be killed. People
Right.
don't like that. It sounds wrong, but that's just what it is. This is the life. This is how things are moved and controlled. And this I mean, I'd go real deep in this, but I'm not yet. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna
Okay.
say
So I'm gonna give you like kind of give you some rebuttals here because that's how I play.
go away with.
I said I'm gonna give you a couple of rebuttals, like couple like devil's advocate.
Go ahead.
So
What you
let's talk about it. So I'm not disagreeing with you on poverty. I'm not disagreeing with you because I can tell you for a fact, and again, I'm going to use Illinois because I don't know Mississippi like that. Mississippi actually, within the past year or two, actually just got the lottery here in the state. They didn't have the lottery. So in Illinois, I know for a fact that 25% of the lottery money is supposed to go back into the schools. However, it is not. So again, it's political, right?
got? Mhm.
Um, and then so that's a one thing. Yes, I agree with you on the poverty aspect. So you have your local governors and mayors, looking to get money in their pockets. Then you have your good old president who y'all are, I'm sorry, and if I lose friends at this point, I really don't care. Y'all are a bunch of idiots for voting for Joe Biden because seriously, what is he even doing for the people who are stuck in poverty?
Well, hold
He,
on, hold on. It's helping those in Ukraine in poverty.
I'm talking about in the U.S. and you know damn well I was talking about the U.S. But yes, that was a good point.
Yeah, poverty is like, man, I'm not taking up for. I'm being actually funny because sending money and billions of dollars to Ukraine, and you got the numbers I just gave you
I
right
know.
now. You live in poverty, like you, if you can spend that money in Ukraine and you can leave military equipment over there in the Middle East, then you can't help the veterans and people here struggling to fund our education systems. Don't get me started.
So Donna says it does, but it's a funding formula that distributes the money. Okay, so maybe you can or cannot answer this question. When it comes to the Chicago public schools, why is it that every year, I want to say it's probably been a while, but every year they're constantly going on strike?
Right.
And I know the union sucks, you know, depending on what union you have and what all they're going to do for you. So that's my question is if it does, I feel like the formula is only for certain suburbs, certain entities. It's not for the schools that actually need it. You know what I'm
But think
saying?
when you go to funding, if you get like out here at where I'm at, um, good school system brings some of the top in the state. Next suburb over, good school system, top in the state. But you have people who actually care about what school their son or daughter attend. And they actually partake, do the fundraiser thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They do a lot. Now, let's go back to your areas in your poverty where some schools are. Parents are not as involved because people are trying to survive. And so
Mhm.
it's a survival method when you got to the poverty areas. You got people selling drugs, people that rely more on government assistance or in these areas because you have more of your Section 8 housing and stuff like that. So if you think about it, if you don't have to depend on the government, let's say the population of the United States, 98% of the people did not have to rely on the government. What kind of power would the government have? Let's keep it real.
True.
90%. 98% of the population of the United States did not have to rely on government assistance. This whole thing will be different. And let me tell you something. It won't be no police brutality. You know why? Because our communities in black and brown would not have high crime. So guess what? You wouldn't need that much police presence. Think about this. The cities, if you look this up, research this. The cities that's heavily populated, even if you look at some suburbs that's populated, that's busy, they have more police officers. Some suburbs that have the same amount of population or even higher don't carry the same amount of police officers because they don't have much crime, not many calls for services. That's what it is. I still look at Madonna says she has low property tax collection impact schools.
So
Property tax.
I know, yeah, I want to show these really quick just so we could talk about it. So the formula, and this is simply to educate people too. So formula was at one point based on enrollment, and they've tried to move that towards more of evidence based formula. And then she said property tax also funds schools. So when you have a neighborhood school with majority abandoned houses, then that impacts the funding too. I can see that. I never thought about that. But that definitely does make a lot of sense.
Well, hold on. You have some suburbs with a high property tax. They still have shitty schools.
Right.
So and
So
then get paid pretty well.
right. And it just, all in all, it's frustrating, but again, I get it. And how we have to go back to, and I think this is where Life Grind Cares has to come together and think about how can we fix this? Like, how can we go back to these communities and help give back to schools? You know what I mean? I think it's so important. These children need an education. These children need teachers who are actually going to invest in them and help them. And I know there's a lot of teachers that want to do that, but there's also a lot of teachers that are tired. They're drained because they have little Johnny, they've got little Jimmy and little Donnie that are all being little assholes the entire time. So, and it's mentally draining. I get it. I truly do. I've always wanted to be a teacher, but now in today's day, I know I would lose my cool. I used to do Sunday school, and there was a couple of times where I was like on the board of losing my cool with these kids. I was like, I'm talking. What are you guys doing? So y'all are special to be working in the schools because I would probably lose my job.
Yeah, you got some very kids that make it challenging for you to do that. So I get that. Yeah, but if you think about it, one thing I want to point out there too, programs. Now, when I was growing up, even I grew up in the inner city. There were a lot of after school programs. There were a lot of basketball things. The park districts had stuff and everything. There was a lot of stuff to offer kids. Today, you don't have a lot of that. A lot of programs. And even in the neighborhood, I grew up in the projects. We had midnight basketball growing up.
Mm.
So, you go to midnight basketball games. Everything has something to do. Society has taken a lot of things away. It's less things for kids to do. I was a pretty busy kid, always in the sports, always doing something. These kids these days don't have a lot of those opportunities. It's the way the world is turning, the way things
Yep.
are twisted. So programs have been taken away. Come on now, you can add some of these programs back, or you can like after school stuff. Get the kids something to do. Kids don't
Yep.
have nothing to do. The school system sucks. They roam the street. They're stealing cars. They're carjacking. You got a kid out 12 o'clock at night, stole a car. Why?
But let's talk about what they're doing at home. How's the lifestyle at home? I think a lot of that falls on the accountability at home. Are the parents struggling financially? Are the parents lazy? I know that Donna, because Donna even said educators are held more accountable than the parents. And I can understand that, which is sad because the kids are in school for majority of their time, right? Majority of their day. So I get that aspect, but at the same time, it's the parents' responsibility. It took two of y'all to create this damn child. I need both of y'all to invest in your goddamn children. I'm sorry. That shit just pisses me off that these kids are, they see their parents struggling financially. I watched my mom struggle financially. I watched both sides of my family struggle financially, and it hurt me. So I ended up getting a job at the age of 15 to help my mom a lot. And a lot of these kids are in high school and they're looking to get a job or under the age to get a job. So now they're, doing carjackings, stealing, car parts just to get a little money to bring back home.
It ain't
And it's like,
all money.
huh?
It ain't all money because some of these kids got it good at home. They just know how to fucking act. I'll just keep
Well,
on.
some of them, right. Some of them, it is for an act, but there are some of them. What do the parents do for a living? Are they constantly at home, smoke, doing drugs and whatnot?
Parents teach kids nowadays to hate the police. What's going on? That's the domino effect. So when young kids see police, they mean mug. Same thing. It's been times I talk to young kids, they just mean mug and look me off like police are bad. Now when we was growing up, we weren't taught police were bad.
Right.
Now kids growing up right now, they're taught police is bad. So
Yep.
what that has a domino effect, it's going to lead to a negative interaction with the police because younger kids, especially women, they will fight the police. They will call you bitches and hoes, and they will swing on you. Don't serious. It's serious. Young women, young minority women are the most roughest to deal with. They are so vicious, brutal. They will cuss you out. They will fight you. And I'm talking about teens that's still in school. The most brutal and hard to work with. They are because they're taught and the media teach them to hate the police.
Yep.
Sometimes the parents install that behavior in their brains to hate the police. So guess what? When I come out, you gotta talk to people. They want to go hands on. They want to fuck you up. Then they want to do everything else. And you gotta be as a police officer. You gotta. That's the thing about it, you gotta keep your cool. You gotta like just chill, like and kind of let people vent. And sometimes, almost all the time, you kill people with kindness, as you would do if you
Mhm.
wear uniform or if you're not wearing uniform. Kill people with kindness. It's a psychological thing. You're not getting what they want, and they eventually come around.
Right. And again, it has to come back down to the re-education to these kids that and to the world in general. Not all police officers are bad. That's like saying all white people are racist or all black people are horrible people. It's not true. Stop putting everybody in one little bucket. Well, because you're white, you're racist. Bitch, I'm far from fucking racist. I'll be honest with you. I really am. I am far. I will love. I don't care who you are, what you identify as. I'm still gonna love you. Why? Because you were called here on this earth for a fucking purpose. I need you to understand that. Understand your assignment at that. Do not come at me and call me racist because I am not that person. And I can't stand when people are like, oh, well, this white person and this black person or this Hispanic person. That is my biggest issue is that people sit here and put everybody in a bucket. Why can't we just love on each other? Why do people go up to Hispanic people? Do you speak Mexican? Bitch, I didn't know Mexican was a language.
That's so ignorant, though.
It
That's
is. Do you speak Spanish? Please. And my brothers are half white, half Puerto Rican. So when people say, "Oh, you're Mexican," there's more than one Spanish origin, culture. Stop it. Don't
But
disrespect it.
people don't go nowhere. They don't know nothing. You're not exposed to nothing. You don't know nothing. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna break this down real quick, right? I'm gonna break it all the way down. I got a few things to say. First, people. I think I said it earlier. In Chicago, there was a 7 to 8 year girl murdered. It was attacking her father. They killed the girl. There was no outrage. There was no marches. There was no nothing. There may have been marches in the neighborhood, but there was no media outrage. Let me tell you. Let me tell you something. March. Kids' lives are important. What we fail to realize, we're talking about police brutality issue in America. The real issue is the safety of our children that we never address because we're busy being mind fucked by the media. Media is funded by billionaire people. George Soros, a good example, funded through third party, a lot of media outlets. So they feed this poison to y'all, right? We don't seem to focus on child sex trafficking, right? Because a lot of child sex trafficking involves elites. Now, we might get muted for me saying this, but I don't give a fuck because child sex trafficking is real. I want
Mm-hmm.
people to focus more on that child sex trafficking. Here's another thing: people get bamboozled, like Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd incident. We marched, people tore up shit, they made all this money. Target wanted to get out the blue, they funded all this money, all these big corporations funded Black Lives Matter. And what these chicks do? I got their mission statement. Their first was out. Let me read you because I don't want to quote nothing bad. But they went and bought homes in California and $1 million homes and stuff. Look at them
Mm-hmm.
leadership. But let me read some stuff that people probably didn't know about BLM. I screenshotted this stuff, and because I knew they're gonna like delete it at some point. See, well, let me read this. Soros funded Black Lives Matter groups. I screenshot this because it's gonna take it down. It was a Soros funded organization. It was his tax returns. He gave at least 33 million to Black Lives Matter. So people that know who George Soros is, please do your research, learn who he is. I'm not about to read this whole thing. So let me get this BLM mission statement. I'm gonna read this. It's gonna shock the hell out of you. Here we go. So I'm gonna just it's this long mission statement. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expressions, economic status, and so forth. Right? Here's where they discredit the black man. This is what people need to see. They're not going to see it because not on their website no more. But it's
Mm-hmm.
old. Screenshot it. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. A black man at the time could not lead. You could participate in march, but you could not lead. So this is where you X men out. This is the feminist shit that's going on today. We are or no, so we do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folks, especially black trans women who continue to be impacted by trans antagonistic violence. We build a space that affirms black women is free from sexism in environments which men are centered. We practice empathy. We make our spaces friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the I can't even say that name. Patriot, what a, we, did- we, I know,
We got you. You're good. You're good.
yeah, we dismantle but the dad's prayer goes to father's practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that the mother can be in the private as they participate in the public justice work. So they're saying is that they don't want the fathers leading the household. They want the mom. They want the women in charge, the female in
Mm-hmm.
charge. You can only lead the household unless you're transgender. Uh, let's see. We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip. I'm gonna have to post this because it's like a whole like list of stuff, and I'm like scattering through or whatever. Um,
Definitely post it. Post it in the comment thread for sure, so people can go back and look at it. So you said a couple of things in there that I
oh,
want to.
I said the word wrong. I can never pronounce that as the same life. The word, but we go
You're good. You're good. We all have those days.
like,
Um,
oh.
you're just special. We already know you're special. I'm not gonna say you're like special ed, but we know you're special.
I'm not.
Um, So you said a couple of things in there. So basically, at the end of the day, what we know for a fact is they pick and choose who they want to help out, right?
Well,
They
you
pick and choose.
can't help a man. Black.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I'm saying is they're going to pick and choose. And I'm going to say this with a fact. What I'm about to say next is I want to say it was a last year that gentleman who pulled into the McDonald's and had his 5-year-old or 2-year-old in the back seat was in the McDonald's drive-through and got shot and killed.
That's what I was talking about. She was 7.
She
That's
was 7.
7.
Okay, I thought she was 5. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like, so where was the family when that happened? Oh, because the dad was involved. You don't want to help him out.
No,
Okay.
black on black crime. It doesn't serve no importance. It's black on black crime. Nobody funds nothing for black on black crime. There's got to be something that gets centered and attention. That's how Black Lives Matter got funded, because Black Lives Matter is funded by George Soros. George Soros likes chaos, and when the city has chaos,
Right.
closer and closer to a one world order. So he could fund it, and big corporations like the Target, the Walmart, who stay open during the pandemic and shut down middle class grocery stores that couldn't stay open and do the same thing that the bigger corporations were doing, because they're funded by billionaires who control the world.
Mhm.
That's facts. Follow the money. There's a lot to follow, and that's another conversation. But if you think about it,
But I'm gonna bring up another point, because what you just said is all factual information. I need America to wake up. Okay, we're gonna go back to the Tyree Nichols thing. Tyree Nichols. 5 black officers, 5, brutally attacked this guy, right? Or were involved one way or another, right? 5, black on black, right? Where's all the protests at? The only protest that was done was in Memphis. Atlanta didn't blow up. Chicago didn't blow up.
but it doesn't require that, because there's no agenda.
Because it wasn't a black on white. It wasn't a white cop. That's what I'm saying.
Works with racism. When they're ready to put something out there to distract you, they will put something out to distract you. Like
But
right
this
now,
is hold on. This is my exact point. That's what I'm trying to prove, not to you, but to America, for America to wake up. It's the media that's making it a race issue. It's not the people going at each other making it a race issue. They make it a race issue when you have the white people saying blue lives matter, right? That can be race, that can be defined as racial, but yet there are black police officers. So I don't know how much that can actually be considered racial.
I don't know, like blue lives. That's all immediate thing. I don't care about none of that stuff. To be honest with you, blue, whatever. We all people as one. In order to succeed in the United States of America, in the country, everybody need to come together as one. Racism shit is not going to work. Racism is a powerful war tool used to keep us divided. Because guess what? People used to always say, "Oh, it's going to be a race war. It's going to be this." It's a war right now.
Mm-hmm.
War with the mind. You're going to continue to be bamboozled. There's going to be a police shooting. They're going to broadcast, because there's going to be thousands of people are shot by police. They're going to take one incident where it's white and black. They're going to set people off, and they're going to go tear shit up. And that's how you win a war. That's how you keep depopulation down. Man, I'm going to tell you something. People think it's conspiracy, but it's not. We got in the inner city, you got crime, a lot of homicides. So now you get a white officer shooting an unarmed black man, or even shooting period where the cause question. Now you got people going to tear up neighborhoods. Now you got people get killed. You got the economic in the black and brown communities being damaged.
Mm-hmm.
People can't afford to live where they live, because they got to pay higher taxes, because they just burned down the 3 stores. So now you're making it difficult for black and brown people to live. That's how you win a war. You win a war of the mind. They don't have to come out with rifles. So when they break you down, like right now, they tell a man, "Oh, it's good for you to dress in a skirt and express your feminine ways." They break the man down. Women can protect themselves, but they can't. When they break you down, they're going to come inside your home, and they're going to excuse you for your home. So it's happening right now. People might think it's crazy or whatever, but trust me, look at it. I've told you before, even for women looking for a good man, ain't that many good men as leaders out here right now. Men are looking for women to help take care of them.
Yep.
My brother was in court, going through court. Man ain't working. He wanted spouse support after this divorce. Get your punk ass up and work. But that's how the world is changing.
Yep.
In the United States, the war is being won. There's a lot of men that take on these feminine traits. Nothing against them at all. Nothing against them. But that's how you make men weak. We were born to be warriors, protect, and everything. Not to wear dresses, not to wear lipstick, none of that. But they're going to continue to do this to man weak, continue to make the economic areas in the black and brown communities weak and trashy. Because guess what? Black and brown men are going to rely on carjacking and drugs. So guess what? They got a prison system funded by rich people, not tax dollars, but rich people.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep people in there to keep the prisons going and flowing. So guess who's in there? Look at the stats. A lot of black and brown people. So there's not a lot of men in the households because they're trying to feed families. They're taken out. They got police records. You make guys feel them that it's okay to be a female, so you can't reproduce. You can't make the population more than what it is. If you're in jail, you can't populate the population. So guess what? The war is being played. It's being won. It's
Mm-hmm.
happening right now. So guess what now? The people who ain't got no money, let's force them to take this little liquid. And if they don't take it, guess what? You get fired. So guess what?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in the military lost their jobs. And people who came from families that's wealthy or whatever, they didn't take it. They ain't got nothing to lose. It's all about economics. Wipe out the middle class, make them poor, and then you put the poor people all together, they struggle to survive. Guess what? It's crime. You take people like police officers, because the laws they write, you take them one by one away slowly. They spend night in jail. Think about it. People don't know how many times people go through Cook County Jail to see a judge to get bond set every day. And then guess what? When you get locked up, you can't get a job. Nobody's going to hire criminals. Less likely you get hired. You got to start from the very bottom. And this is how America wins the war.
Mm-hmm.
The game is played. So it's not about police brutality being an issue in America. It's all a game. Once you fall in line and you act out emotional, call police weak, and go tear up a store, that's what they want you to do. Get out your emotion, go fuck up a store, and think you done something, you accomplished. We got them. We got them. No, you just threw up some tax dollars in your neighborhood that's going to go to everybody else. If they paying a $40,000 tax bill a year, they're going to be gone.
Yep.
They leave that shit with you. That's how the game is played.
Ladies and gentlemen, take notes. Learn a damn lesson.
It's real. Because one lady told me, okay, go to riots. I was talking to this one lady, and she said, we got them. We tore their shit up. I said, what's on the Walgreens? Yeah. I said, that Walgreens can be rebuilt and it can be rebuilt somewhere else. Otherwise, you just took a black business down the street, right down the street. A very successful black business. You tore it down, burned down. Now, I talked to that man. He's taking his business elsewhere. So these tax dollars that they pay, people think they won. The actual people who live in that city or village who pay tax dollars are going to be paying a higher tax bill. That's why taxes rise. When business leave, they leave a tax burden behind them, in which the citizens have to pay. That's how it works. So if you rent an apartment in one of these areas to get trash, your rent will go up because the landlord is not going to pay the higher tax they got in his pocket. He gonna distribute that amongst his 3, 4, 5, 6 tenants. That's
Right.
how the game is played in America. It's not about police brutality. They're gonna set you off. They're gonna set people off again. I'm gonna predict by the summer. They're gonna set them off, and let me tell you what they do at Tifa. They're gonna sit at Tifa, these black neighborhoods, because I just saw footage today. A guy showed me in Minneapolis. It was like they tried to blame the police. It was a guy like tearing up the store windows, shattered them now, and they send these people in these neighborhoods and do things because they know that what all of what black people. These are the urban people. Man, let me tell you this: all again, Antifa funded by who? Soros funds BLM. Is
By the
crazy.
rich.
So hey, I actually can't be saying his name like that because I got actually I think it's Newsbreak. I missed his name in the article, and it sounds violating the guidelines. Seriously.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, I know. Right. So, my bad. I went on a little tangent, but I had to let people know what the real issue is in America. And we can't fall in line with some of the stuff they put out there. We can't act emotional. Go to your city council meetings if you got an issue. Most people don't show up to those.
And
Most
vote. And when you vote, make sure you're doing your damn research. Don't go off of what Grandpa Joe down the street is saying about, governor this, mayor this, whatever. Do your own damn research. Everything is on the internet, and not everything on the internet is true. So you really have to pay attention where you are getting your information from.
But go to city council meetings, I guess, whatever. Go participate. Go to some community policing meetings. You go there. And if ain't no police department has it, go to your mayor and complain. We pay tax dollars and we don't actually do nothing. We pay tax dollars and we just sit and accept whatever they throw at us. And that's a problem in politics. We too accepting of the bullshit. And y'all know what's going on right now. They let the immigrants over there, the borders are open. That's all Joe Biden has. I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, yeah.
That's another show.
Another show for another day. I'm gonna keep it PG today, but the next time is gonna be
Unlike Donkey Kong.
hey, tomorrow, y'all, if y'all can, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Check it out. I'm gonna be getting interviewed by Nana. This is gonna be talking about some real life changing stuff. I'm gonna talk about some things that probably never mentioned on any podcast or any type of live thing. It's gonna be some deep information. So you're gonna ask me questions, and I'm gonna have answers. It's gonna be about people go through things in life, and you go through mental health escapades and everything, and nobody talks about it. Everybody keeps it in. So I'm gonna talk about it's gonna basically kind of like my biography, but I'm gonna talk about a lot of stuff like the police state was talking about and get people more in-depth stuff of what's going on, because some of these places you work at, even some of these police departments, they're pretending to have your back, but when the tough gets going, they leave your ass out to dry. So You think that's for you, they ain't for you. Tune in tomorrow. I got a lot to talk about. It's gonna be pretty
deep.
It's pretty deep. You might shed a tear too, but just tune in tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty deep.
And then we have Girls Night next Wednesday, which may or may not be on Facebook. It might be on YouTube. So either way, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It's gonna be
y'all wait, Lingerie on Girls Night.
Probably not, Hendo. Probably not. Okay. But it's gonna be the post Valentine's Day saga. We'll talk about it.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, so thank y'all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. I put up the post in the group. Y'all get to see it. Tune in tomorrow night. It's gonna be a deep and in-depth show. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's seriously funny. Me and Ashley Beef from Mississippi to IL, Illinois. Peace out, y'all.